Happy fall, ladies.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, what a gorgeous day.
Gorgeous light coming in, huh?
Yeah. No, it's just you.
Oh,
It's coming there. You see?
It's her today.
Yeah.
She is.
guys. I miss this though.
I know.
I mean, it won't
know.
show up. We haven't done this in a little bit.
It's been a while. Lots
Yeah.
gone on. I was
Yeah.
sick. Is it Morocco time?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So
Yeah.
there's a lot going on.
A lot was going on.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And I lost my glove. We'll get to that.
Oh. So that's just one? Okay.
We'll get to it later. Maybe it's my dumb
The
bullshit
drama.
story. Well, this is the point.
Really?
I lost this dumb. Today, I never buy anything new,
Okay.
especially gloves.
Yeah.
So it's just like it's time to upgrade my glove game. Like
Okay.
the scrunchies from the dollar store will only take you so far.
No,
It's
that's-
time
that's
to like
bad.
have
Yeah,
something a little
yeah.
nicer. So I spent a little bit of money, not a ton, no big deal. And
Yeah.
they're cool because like you can do them like this, and then you do this thing. And it was like,
Oh,
like,
that is
yeah,
cool.
like a nice, you know.
I like
And
it.
then during the fall,
Double-
I was going,
double leg.
like the big J option. I was
Yeah.
like doing this. It was like, oh, this is perfect for this weather. So yeah,
Sweater
like
weather.
I'm getting, and they matched my coats and my jeans, and it's all amazing. And then today I was in the shop, and I was going to pay, and I had found one, and then I couldn't find the other one, and I'd only been there for
But you
like,
have the other glove?
well, I have the glove parts,
Oh, you
but I
don't
lost
have
this
one.
part, and it's just like it's eating away at me in a way that it's like people are dying all over the world, like in North Carolina and in the Middle East and in Ukraine and in Russia and flooding all over the world. Like, and yet, and I've had my share of loss in my life. Like I've lost some things, and
This is the most important thing in your life right now.
but you're like seriously, it's like I've done the work, and yet I can lose something like this and be like, it's okay, it's fine. Obviously, it's not the end of the world, and things come in your life and things go. And yet 15 minutes later, it's like, I'm still checking pockets. I'm still like, keep thinking it's going to be, I'm like double tracking my steps. I'm telling the people at the store, if you see this other thing, it's like, it's weird to me. It's like, you can do so much work, go walk through fires
Yeah.
many times, come to peace with that, and still there's like some little unresolved thing that makes me
No, that's
become
just
a little
being
obsessive.
human.
Come on,
Okay.
you're overanalyzing.
You're being hard on
It's-
yourself,
It's
lady.
you and you love them and you lost them. And
Yeah,
you're
you just
pissed.
bought them,
That's
you
like
love
normal.
that.
That's normal.
but like
If you
20
had them
minutes
for 2
later
years,
talk about it on a podcast later. Like, I mean,
Well,
it's
because we talk about silly stuff.
I know,
as well.
yes, yeah. But it was funny to me. It's like people are losing things all the time. Like that's the whole thing.
yeah.
We're shedding a lot, and I've
Yeah.
shed so much, and I love the person I am today because I've shed so much. Like I
Yes.
love that, and I can still like have a moment in my life where it's bugging me. It's like
Yes.
that little thing that hooks
You can't
in.
help it. Yeah.
And I get it. Like you need to
Yeah.
have a little bit of that urge, because if you didn't care ever, like
Yeah, that's
your,
it.
your environment would be a mess. So
Come
you
on.
need a little bit of
Yeah.
that. Yet there's still
Especially
some
that
polishing
you
that
found,
needs to
you
happen.
found something really cool for you.
It's
so,
$20 to replace it, which for me $20 for
Oh,
gloves.
Yeah.
But still, like it could have been a passport or driver's license.
Just
like,
go to. Do you remember where you bought
Yes,
it
of
from?
course I
Just
did.
go steal that.
There you go. She found a
yeah,
solution.
yeah.
That's after all the work. You go steal it.
Oh, I'm glad I brought it up. The solutions
You
lady
figure
over
that.
here. Anyway, all that to say, it's like I get like it's a good reminder. It's a good reminder me to lose things, because I can sometimes get a little bit not high and mighty. Like I try to stay humble, but it's like a good reminder. Like there's always things to
Yeah.
improve upon, even if
Yeah,
it's
of
like
course.
the dumb little
We're not
thing.
perfect. Come on. We all, you, baby. Well, like,
No, it's a good
Yeah.
reminder. There is work to be done. So anyway, that was my
Yes, and don't be too hard on yourself.
yeah,
I
we're
think
trying,
that's
like we have like, an intervention for Kate.
Yeah.
Like,
My OCD's
we
getting a little
need
off the
to
chain.
help
Yeah.
her go through this ordeal.
Okay.
It's
I'm-
okay.
Yeah.
Let's buy her
Should we
one.
burn it?
Yeah.
What do we
Ship
do
it.
to
Here,
him?
here's $10.
Yeah.
Go fuck bugging.
I know, that's the thing. That's what's beautiful about the lesson. It's just like it would be nothing to like literally scrape together a few $2 coins that are probably all lying around here, and it would literally have no effect. But yet there's still something inside of us that we're lost to lose something. Especially it's in the store somewhere. Like, how does something just disappear?
Yeah.
Like, there's also
Did you go
that.
back and look at
I
the
walked
stores?
around. This is why I was late.
ask?
It's just like I was
Where?
spent
The
another.
store is in your neighborhood?
Yeah, and I told the clerks like, if you see it, but I mean, and then again, it's another lesson. It's like if it's meant to come back, it will, and if it's not. And that's a lesson I still need to learn that lesson, apparently. Yeah, so that's how my day's going. That's why I was late. That's why we had to start late, because I was
looking for
wouldn't
her.
let go. I was so touched.
I just lost my dad. Somebody's like talking about something like
Did
more
he
important.
pass?
No, I'm joking.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Just to make you feel bad, like
Yes,
I have
yes.
important news.
Well, this is the thing.
No,
like,
I'm
you have
joking.
family who's getting bombed right now.
I'm silly.
I would still, even with that, if I lost something I had just bought, especially like that out of the blue, like it didn't make even sense, I would probably react the same way, huh?
I know. Oh, yeah, I know.
I would probably
I
be
know,
like,
it's a
where
very
the fuck did I
human
put
thing.
it? Yeah. Yes,
Okay.
yes, it's a very
And I'm
human
still going to check my backpack every time.
Yes.
Maybe. Still.
Especially when you like something that, you know, you're like, oh, look, I
Yeah,
can put
yeah,
it like
yeah.
this, and then I
Yeah.
can put it like that. It's normal. It's
My
absolutely
dress-up gloves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And gloves. I lose gloves constantly. I've lost
That's the
a pair in
most
Kat's car
common
many
thing
times.
to lose. Yeah,
It's in my
gloves.
lap. I forget it's that I stand up. You keep walking.
We need
like,
to
I lose
stop
gloves all the time.
matching gloves and socks. It's just insane how.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
really you are coming in with the
like
solutions
a
today.
solution.
Oh
Today,
my
the
God.
solutions are coming in.
Just wear them with yellow ones. Like, just do your thing.
Yeah.
Why do we have to?
Yes,
To
that's what I'm gonna do.
match.
I'm gonna go to the dollar store. I'm gonna buy a pair of blue mittens, cut off the fingers, and that's it. That's
Yeah.
There you go.
or
Okay.
mismatch.
Wow,
Yeah.
the breakthroughs we're coming to today. are
Socks
insane.
is hard for me. If one sock doesn't fit the same way as the
Yeah,
other
it's
sock,
like-
it
Doesn't
drives me
feel
around
the
crazy.
same
yeah,
way
yeah, it's like
either.
doesn't hit me on the ankle in
Yes,
the same
yes,
place.
yeah. I agree.
But my kids do it all the time. I see Maya, she's got like one long sock,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
one booty. I'm
She
like,
doesn't
how
give a
does that
shit.
not drive you insane?
My kids do. They're always mismatched.
Really?
Yes.
No, no.
Sometimes they do it on purpose.
Just to bug you.
No, but just because, she's like, oh, yeah, I like it. Why do I have to match? It's like, how do I say that? Like,
They don't see like things like us, like things that are important to me are not important to my kids. They all keep saying to me, like, "Why are you upset about this?" Like, what? Like, well, this is how life works. They don't understand how I like my living room to be a certain way with the table nicely, and they're like, "Why is this important?"
Yeah, they don't see
They don't.
it yet.
They don't see.
They don't have the eyes.
Yeah.
I feel like for me, I had to go into my mom was beautiful spaces. My
Yeah.
sisters are beautiful spaces. And then when I stopped living with them and moved my own place, I was not very conscious of spacious. But then I don't know, I started going into other people's nice spaces and I'm like, oh wait, I don't know, there was a disconnect for a while and
Yeah.
then I had to come to it on my own. So maybe I'm guessing like I'm thinking about Mandan now. Like he lived here and now he's not living here. He's got his own apartment. I feel like he's gonna have an appreciation for a clean house
Yeah.
or things that look
Yeah.
nice in a way that he didn't have to do. So yeah, your kids someday they'll move out and then
Well, they like Ryan when he goes to his friend's house, he sees how sloppy they are, and he says, "Oh my God, they're like the house is a mess, and things are on the floor, and the sink is overflowing." So he appreciates the effort I'm doing to.
So he
make
does see it.
Yeah,
He
he
is
does
starting to
see
see
it.
it,
Like
yeah.
that's not the way people should live.
Yeah.
We'll see when he moves out. When
Yeah.
he's 56.
Ryan's going to be laughing watching this.
I don't think he's
I
gonna
know
He's gonna watch it.
They're not allowed.
Are you not going to promote it to
even-
children?
I'm not saying he's not allowed. He's not interested. You know, he's like, I think he's gonna cringe, and he doesn't want to
is gonna be cringe
Yes.
for the
It's like, hey,
kids.
hearing his mom talk about sex and stuff, he's
No,
he's not interested.
None of our kids should be listening to this podcast.
He's
None.
not interested.
But I
Maybe
think
the
Mom's right. They
girls,
may not, maybe later, hopefully later when they've got their experiences become a little more.
Yeah.
But Why would they be interested? Like the
No,
stuff we're
no,
talking about,
no.
except listening for, are they talking about me?
Yeah.
Say something about me?
Yeah.
Talk about my socks?
want to know if I talk about him. He's just that way. He's like,
Yeah.
yeah, you do your thing and stuff. He didn't know we had a podcast until lately, because I wrote it on the calendar. I did podcast, and he was like, "What is that?" And before that, he said, "You and Kate, you should do a podcast." It's just out of the blue, and I started laughing, and I didn't say anything.
You still didn't tell him.
I didn't tell him. I was just laughing, and then when he saw the podcast, I said, "I'm doing a podcast with Kate."
Thank you, Ryan. It was a great idea.
Yeah. That was a good suggestion. Yeah. Yeah. Maybe the girls, I feel like, would be more interested in like listening to what their moms have to say. Mostly to find to
how
see,
kids
yeah.
are super interested in what their parents have to say.
No, well, mostly to see like if they're in there
Yeah,
somewhere.
yeah.
You
Ah,
know?
okay.
If they have been mentioned.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which I have
And they'll
not.
wait for.
They're gonna have to listen to a lot.
I have to slog through a lot of crap just to find out.
Tell them, if you hear your name, you will win an Amazon gift card or something,
have to
like
find
the
it.
influencers
Yeah.
do.
So how have you been?
I've been, I've been on a roller coaster, which could be fun, right? Some people love roller coasters.
Not me.
Midnight.
I don't-
Yeah. I feel like, I can enjoy a good ride, right? Sometimes it's good, but sometimes you get dizzy and you just want to puke. So it's been up and down. But I do feel great. Lately, I've been feeling amazing, especially because I disconnected. I got to a point where if I connected to what's going on in the world, it would affect me. It's like it would put water in my boat, so it would really affect me. And I was trying to find ways to, still be like, not be like, head in the sand, but still be aware of what's going on and send prayers. And I have family and friends that I need to be in touch with. So it's not like I can completely like disconnect from what's going on, which is the war in Lebanon. But I decided, and it was really a conscious decision, because I it's a slippery slope, huh? When you let yourself a little bit like feel things that are crunchier and denser, it's a slippery slope for me. Like I can get into really like difficult spaces. So I made a conscious decision to take the privilege that I have of not being in a war zone physically, not to have my nervous system have to constantly be aware that war is going on, because I'm not there physically. So that's a privilege. And so I decided to really take that privilege and to apply it. Like, my nervous system should be in parasympathetic at all times. I'm not in danger. I'm in a safe country. And my family's around me, my close family, my circle, my loved ones at large are most of them, the big majority of them are safe.
Some are listening and are like,
Yeah, what about
she
me?
clearly doesn't love me enough. The people I love the most are here. News to me. It's
Yeah.
I gotta get
I won't
bombed
tell
and
them
now
we're
I gotta
doing a
find out
podcast.
getting shit from Magda.
No, but
Yeah.
really, I have a few friends.
You built your life is here in Canada.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. My life is here. My parents are here. My siblings are here.
Kids.
All my cousins are, spread around the world. I have some extended family that's in Lebanon, some friends, but even them, they're really in a safe area, so I don't have to like on a daily basis worry about them. So that's a privilege. So I decided that I'm no longer gonna feel those feelings,
Or let yourself be like on a daily basis be exposed to that. You're like that. The
Yes.
heaviness it does no good for
And
you. To carry it
feel
around.
the injustice and feel like all get into all the, and just sometimes the visuals, like we're bombarded by so
Yeah.
many visuals on a daily basis, so much that no matter what, you're gonna be affected. Okay, so I have
Right.
something to tell you guys, and let's do it on air. Why not? I got this gig, which is to be part of the election of the English School Board, the Montreal English School Board.
Yes.
So
They have
they
an
have
election.
yes,
Okay.
they have elections for their chairman and members of the board, etc. So I got a gig to be a secretary at the polling station.
Okay.
Okay. So I was there on Monday for training. The election is on Sunday. I was there on training, so they train you on how the election happens and what the role of the secretary is. And everyone's assigned to a different school where the elections are happening. So I was assigned. So people at the end started like asking each other, like, okay, so which school do you have? I have Westmount Park. Which school do you have? Nah, 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 nah. So everybody had a different school. I had Hampstead. Okay, and this other lady, had Hampstead too, and she came to me super excited, like, oh my god, okay, we're gonna be together. We have to team up. We have to ask them to be on the same polling station and everything. And sure enough, I was like, yeah, great, because she's like, it's good to have a familiar face when we get there. Because they had different training sessions, so
you just
so she was happy that she was gonna have a familiar face there. And then we were called to go watch a video, and she's like, Magda, come sit next to me because we're gonna be together, we're gonna spend the day together. Sure. So I came, I sat next to her, and she like tapped me there, and then she went like this, and then I saw a bracelet that she was wearing, and the bracelet said Israel. Okay, so right there I didn't have to wonder
right.
anything about like where she was at. She clearly is supporting Israel, and not to get political public about it, exactly. So not to get political, but I mean, right now as we speak, Israel is bombing Lebanon. That's the war I'm talking about, where some of my loved ones are. But so she's wearing it, like, so she's very public about it. And I didn't say anything, but now I'm anticipating that Sunday I'm going to be spending my whole day next to this lady in Hampstead. Okay. And she's going to be asking, because, there's going to be some downtime, and she's probably going to be asking some personal questions, like, where you're from, So I'm a bit, how can I say this? I'm a bit worried about this interaction. First of all, I obviously know where I stand regarding the situation. But I do want, on a human level, not to be like Xing this lady just because she supports Israel and be like, I don't want to deal with you,
Right.
I don't know. I feel like I need in my evolution now to address this in a different way, like, if I want peace in this world, if I don't want separation between humans, if I aspire to all these things, I can go down and be like, ugh, I don't want to talk to you because you support, the party that I don't think is right, So I don't know, any insight?
Well, I'm thinking.
Any advice?
If she asks you where you're from and you tell her I'm from Lebanon, just see how she's gonna react to it. Instead of you anticipating how this is gonna go, let her be uncomfortable. Let her do whatever she needs to do with that information, and then you will see how you're gonna respond. If she becomes hostile or like defensive or something, you have the upper hand anyway. So, seriously, I feel like you are the one.
As long as you keep your cool.
Yeah, don't react to anything she says.
Yes, that's gonna be my challenge.
Be the better person.
That's what I want to be.
If she's gonna let her justify, let her whatever she want to do, just let her do it, and don't react to her. Seriously.
No, that's
just
my plan.
Let the day end, and maybe at the end tell her to go fuck herself. No.
At the end, I'm holding this. Yeah.
Yeah, like
see how she responds, and then you have a couple hours to really formulate a plan, to really get her at the end.
At the end, when you're like, "Hey, it was nice."
Grover.
It was
No.
like go to hell, bitch, and then leave. No, I'm just
No, and I've lost friends because of this already. So and I don't feel that.
What do you want to become friends with her?
I
Seriously?
don't want to
Do you
become
need
friends with her.
You need more friends than me.
No, you're the only friend anyone can ever want or have. But
You're the best friend in the world.
Yes.
Did we say it right?
Yeah.
Is that the way we said it? Is that what
Read
the script?
stuff I gave you.
Read the materials.
I had it written here. No, but honestly,
seriously, isn't that like the best way to
Yes,
do it?
but
Don't this.
how about this is an opportunity to even
Oh.
go further for me in my work, my personal work, meaning because I already lost friends because of this issue.
But she's not
Okay.
your friend.
No, I know
Yeah,
she's not my
okay.
friend.
That's
And
what- that's
I don't
maybe
want her to
makes
be
it a
my
better
friend.
opportunity
Yeah,
to kind of
yeah.
level up a little bit and be a little more compassionate and empathetic
Yes.
because there's nothing to lose in this
Yeah,
situation.
Right, exactly.
But don't get worked up by it.
No,
That's what I'm
I
saying.
don't
like,
want to get worked
and
up.
worried and
You know, you crazy Arabs, you get worked up so easily.
No.
Give her a couple of
Slaps. It's just gonna be okay.
You know how
Yeah.
you treat women.
I know. Gone are the days when you can just slap them around.
I'm really curious though because she was lovely, right? She was a lovely lady and she was cheerful and
Yeah.
like I was wearing a sweater with a heart embroidered and she was like, "Oh, I love anybody that wears a heart." So, she
Yeah, we
seems to be. I mean, I'm sure she's a good person and regardless. My curiosity is that this lady that seemed like an open-hearted person, what's the narrative that's going on in her head that justifies her supporting such a scenario, I don't know. And maybe best not to get into it, but just energetically be like, give her love,
Yes,
and
show her
use that
you
opportunity
are
that
whatever she says doesn't phase you. I think it's the best policy. It's just don't engage in whatever she's. Yeah, come with just you. You are.
I want to push it further. I want to love her, that's where I'm going for.
Well, kiss her on the lips when she tells you that she's pro-Israel.
I want to make out with her. Peace in the Middle East.
Just like
Little
that.
sketches of vagina, like your friends.
That episodes of Curb Your
Let's see if we have the same
Did you
pussy.
see that episode of Curb Your Enthusiasms
chicken?
where he goes, when he
the-
sleeps with the Palestinian
Yeah,
lady and
yeah.
she keeps telling him
No.
they're sleeping together and she keeps like slapping, like they're
He's
having sex.
into
She's
it.
like, I'm fucking you because you are killing my people, you Jew, you're like she's hating him and
he loves it.
and he loves it.
I haven't seen this.
So funny.
Yeah.
So yeah, you should do.
I
the
should do
same.
that.
Do the same.
Turn her to group.
Okay, I'm just taking everything to a stupid level, but
Good.
I think you can.
Fine.
Yeah, you don't have to be. Yeah, you don't have to teach her anything about the situation.
No,
but
no.
you just show her that you definitely are a good person. You know that you are. Just show her.
Just wear that heart
how beautiful-
stretcher. You'll be fine.
Fine.
No, you were onto something earlier. You said
Yeah.
something. You said, what is it about her in her life right now that, given everything that's going on, she can still feel the way she feels? That's a great place to start.
Mm-hmm.
Because when we think about all the propaganda that we've all been exposed to,
Yeah.
there's been things in my life that I fully believed in
Yeah.
full-heartedly, and it took some time and some unpacking, and now I can see, that was not the right, the version of me today does not agree with that version of myself.
Yes.
So whatever her past, whatever it is, it's strong enough that these images we see, that the narrative in her head is still strong enough. And it ties so deeply. We talk about like losing things, like to lose your relationship with your parents, your synagogue, the people in your you know what I mean? Like you've lost friendships.
Yes.
Think about the
Yeah.
friendships she might
She's
lose.
gonna lose maybe everybody.
Yeah.
if
So like there's
she-
a lot
yeah.
of pressure to keep that narrative.
Her community
in order.
Maybe everybody she's surrounded with
Yeah.
thinks the same. So
Yeah. Yeah, and it's also identity based, you know. It's also difficult to
Absolutely.
lose your
It's
identity.
basically like religion. You know, since you're a child, they keep telling you this is
Yeah,
the right
that's all you've
religion.
known.
Like every religion thinks it's the best and it's the right, and everybody else is wrong. And we know it's not true, but people believe it, and they work like everything they do is based on those teachings, and it's really hard to remove that
Yeah.
narrative from
That's
their
true.
heads because they do it to children, and it's like scientifically proven that it's really hard to remove that buildup from the child's brain because they keep hammering and hammering when the brain is still growing, and
Yeah.
you know, so it's
Yeah.
And
It's
especially if
really-
you've never broken out of that,
Yeah.
like if you still have a close relationship with your parent. Like we've talked before about
yeah.
how grateful I am that my parents cut me off at one point because then that allowed me to then find myself outside of them, and now we have a great relationship like that. But I don't think all the programming that came from them, if I was still kind of tightly under their wing and close to them on a regular basis, it'd be so much harder to break out of that.
Yes.
You got to first individuate from your parents before you can then start questioning all the narratives that they fed
Absolutely.
you. So I mean, I don't know what her relationship with his parents, but I know
Yeah.
in Hampstead, or you know, like
Yeah.
potentially you have very tight knit community.
Yes.
It'd be very hard to break out of, especially
Yeah.
the only narratives you hear.
Yeah.
So like the best way is what you're talking about doing, is showing up and loving her.
I know. I
Yeah.
want to. I want to be like, I want to show empathy, you know, because I don't think she's, I mean, I don't know her, but even my friends, the ones that I lose, I don't think they're, because I had known them for like 20 years. I know for a fact they're loving people, you know, like in their everyday life, the way they
Right.
treat people, the way they exchange their energy with people. They have empathy, they have compassion. So it's kind of like mind staggering to like that, you know, that disconnect. Yes. And I do think it has to do with like cognitive dissonance. For them, it's like there's a narrative that's built on fear, that's kind of like the fear that you're targeted for who you are as an identity, and anything that threaten that is
It's gonna bring up your defenses. Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So I want to use this opportunity because I find it a bit like a trick from the universe that they put me in Hampstead next to this woman, because I was supposed to be in Westmount Park. You know, that's the school right next to me.
Right.
You know, but there,
This
it
is
was
a test.
full.
This is a
Yeah, it
test.
was full, and then the only person they took from that group and put in Hampstead
Yeah.
is moi.
Take the Lebanese Christian.
Yeah.
Put her with the
With
Israeli
Madame Israel.
just to make it fun for everyone.
So I want to take this opportunity.
You're
and
obviously up for the challenge. Like,
Yes.
This is like
This
Oh
is
my
gonna
God,
be
you're
like-
just such a loving person. You can't. I don't see any other side of you that's gonna emerge. Seriously.
I don't know. My
No,
friend,
you
I
can
got,
be-
I
you can
got.
be
You were talking the other
I got
day
it.
about.
What?
I won't talk.
Well, thank you.
But someone interacted with them and you had to bite your tongue so hard.
Yeah, yeah.
I was just like,
Yeah.
And you knew. Like, I could like push back at this person. I could tell them they're crazy. I could tell them, or I could just bite my tongue, send them away in love. It's not my business. I know how I feel. I don't have to change anyone else's minds about this. I just show up with love and good energy, and they accept me or not. And like all that programming, you're gonna dissolve that so much faster by like, I'm Lebanese. She's gonna ask you, where are you from? I was born in Beirut.
yes,
I'm,
yeah.
you know, like
I wasn't, but
Yeah.
But what you know what I mean?
In
Like,
Paris.
yeah.
how many times have I dated? But you know what I mean? Like that's going to have a much bigger effect than be like, I'm from Lebanon, and then walking away coldly.
Yeah,
you
I'll
know?
be like,
Be
oh, I don't want to deal with you.
Yeah,
you know,
just be like with a
"Ooh."
smile on your face and love in your heart. You tell her I'm from Lebanon, and she either reads into that energy and continues the conversation, or it's too much for her and she walks
Yeah.
away. But
Yeah.
that's not.
So that's gonna be an interesting day.
Yeah,
so that's
we'll talk
Sunday.
about
We'll
it
talk
when-
about
after-
it next time.
after, yeah.
Yeah.
About 4
But
months.
thank you
the
ladies.
Next time we record.
I know.
No.
No, but yeah. So that's the news with me.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. No, I think it's the next step, you know, to kind of like not feel that separation anymore. You know, there's so much momentum on the planet, like all the wars that are happening. you know, they didn't happen overnight. It's not like, oh, now people are
it's-
hating each other, or, you know.
it's
no.
been going on.
It's been going on for
forever.
generations. There's so much momentum towards it. And the only way not to perpetuate and to keep, you know, this momentum going and going is to be like, okay, I'm going to do it differently. Again, using this privilege. Like, I'm here, I coexist with people who, like, in my home country we're at war with.
Yeah, it's interesting when you have
Yeah.
a country full of
Yeah,
immigrants.
yeah.
So this is a school. Like, how can I show up as the best person I can be? You know, and I feel like this opportunity is
And to,
is
yeah,
one
and
of
get more in
those.
alignment with what you know intellectually, the version of yourself you want to be. It's
Mm-hmm.
like, how can I see past this person's identity to their divinity behind them?
Yes,
That
and
shared
their
divinity.
their
Yeah.
essence, and you know, their humanity, you know, because I really profoundly don't believe that all those people supporting Israel are bad people or people who want others to die, you know, or they wish death like just freely like that. Every day they wake up and like, yeah, everybody needs to die. No, I don't. I believe it's really they think that they're
There's some
something,
narrative
some
in-
narrative that
yeah.
I can really, I
That you
can't put
can't
into words.
understand.
Yeah, that they have going on, you know, and I need to make
I think
peace
they
with that.
sold them the fact that Israel represents them and that's their safe haven.
Mm-hmm.
And for them, if it disappears one day, they're lost. You know what I mean? They feel like that they're so connected
Something
to that
like that,
idea
yeah.
because they're all their lives they didn't have a state. They're just wandering. They say they're wandering around the world. So I can understand the fact, like, if tomorrow they tell me, oh, Morocco is going to disappear, even though I left it, and you know what I mean? I just... Like,
Oh, no!
No, but seriously, I think they've been sold that idea hard, like movies and
Well,
politics
that's how Israel justifies its existence.
Yeah.
Is like the rest of the world isn't safe for Jews, right?
Yeah,
Like after
they
World
keep
War II,
saying that,
especially,
yeah,
like this
yeah.
was the story,
Mm-hmm.
and the problem. There's a lot of problems with that, but one of the big ones is that perpetuates a victimhood narrative.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
exactly.
And if you're feeling like a victim, then everything is a threat, and that's
Yes.
there's no place to you can't heal from that
Yeah,
from that
yeah.
place. And so, as long as that narrative is needed in order to justify,
Even though they lead amazing lives, you know, they still feel somehow persecuted.
Yes.
Even though nobody's on their daily life, nothing bad is happening to them. Like nobody's getting.
it's all a state of mind,
It's
though.
all-
And if you
they have to
think
keep that.
that's-
Yeah.
and that's not just Israelis. Like
No.
we see that all the time,
Yeah.
and people around, like people
Absolutely.
who just think the world's out to get them for whatever reason. It's like it's a common. This book, the Prisoners of Hate, it's just like it deals so like the cognitive basis of hate, and it's from a point of fear, and it's
Yeah.
from a point of feeling like a victim.
Yeah.
And so that's why, like on the Hawking's levels of consciousness, David Hawkins,
Yep.
the big turnaround point is courage. If you can get past courage, because everything below that, shame, guilt, fear,
Fear,
like all
yeah,
that,
yeah.
if you can get above courage, and what is the courage? The courage is to no longer sit in your victimhood.
Yeah.
You can recognize that bad things have happened to you. You can recognize that bad things have happened to but bad things happen to all people all the time. We can all find bad things happening to us. So if you can get the courage to no longer see yourself as a victim, that's when your life really
Yeah.
turns around.
Absolutely.
And so you've got a whole society built
On
on
that.
this victim narrative. Like think about how hard that's
Yeah.
going to be to undo.
Yeah, that's very true. It is a victim mentality that's very strong
Well,
there.
look what it's doing to the whole world, basically, just because of that mentality. So a lot of people are suffering.
Well, it's that mentality tied
Yeah.
to then the U.S.
Yeah.
backing them with like if you didn't
Yeah.
have the U.S. backing, that would be a very different situation,
Yeah.
right? Like they wouldn't be able to. This is what's interesting. Can we relate to this? My divorce, please.
Yes.
But my ex saw himself as the
It's
victim.
a safe space.
Yeah.
Like,
Sorry?
I'm at the micro level, at that
Yeah,
relationship level.
yeah.
My ex was. He's also Jewish, but like that's
Oh,
not
really?
relevant.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
Oh.
But it's not really. It's not
That's a
relevant.
very-
But you see someone who's incredibly
Did
privileged.
you know
I
that?
didn't know that. I wouldn't have talked to you if I knew.
Oh shit! We just
Now the truth has
cut.
Yeah.
Podcast ends. Life support.
Oh,
But there he was someone with immense privilege.
Yeah.
He's living in a beautiful city, a house that's fully paid for. He's his own boss. He's got lots of money. He's got 4 beautiful kids. You know, but in his mind, the world is out to get him, and he, you know, like he was on a rampage. The police hated him. The social workers hated him. The courts hated him. I was turning everyone against him. Like, if you want to be a victim, you can.
very easy.
So easy. So easy. And he was a victim with money. And so Israel's a victim with money.
Right,
They've
yeah.
got constant backing that gives them weapons. It's just like, that's a dangerous combination.
Yeah.
And I think about like what that combination cost the city of Montreal in the police that need to be dispatched, the hospital visits that he went through, the stress that I went through. We had to go through the youth court system, and then we had to go through the civil court system, and then we had to go through the criminal court system, and then he was in prison for 4 months. It's just like,
You cost us millions of dollars.
no, it's seriously. You have someone with a victim mindset and lots of money, they can wreak havoc, and that's what we're seeing with Israel. They're wreaking havoc on the rest
Oh,
of the
babe,
world.
you went through a lot.
I did. But I'm happy for it.
Yeah. Let's
Jesus.
just laugh at the fact that she went a lot.
Yeah, I say that and then I look at Lemon and I was like,
Yeah.
No, but
Oh,
wow.
no.
Prison for 4 months.
He was there for a long,
Oh,
for
shit.
months, yeah.
Because of your situation.
Yeah, because he kept violating his conditions. He would like break his conditions, like harass me or stalk me or do something, and they would arrest him. And then he would agree, okay, I won't do that, whatever, I'll do this. And then 2 days later, he's still doing it again. So they had to arrest
He
him
can't
again.
help himself.
He couldn't
Like,
stop. He
that's-
could not help himself.
Yeah.
And so it just kept happening. And so at one point they're like, all right, we'll let you out of prison, but you have to go to America. And so he agreed to live at his mom's house. But then she came and moved into this house so that I couldn't live there. So like they switched houses,
Yeah.
so I didn't have a place to live. And then he got his conditions changed so he could come back. But I was like, I'm feeling safe with him not here. And if he comes back, I'm not going to feel safe. So I was also playing my victim role. Like for sure, there was some of that in me that was still needing to be worked out for sure. And so the conditions were, okay, you can come back to Canada, but you can't stay on the island of Montreal. You have to find something either in Laval or Longueuil. You're allowed on the island for doctor's appointments or meetings with your lawyers. That's it, whatever.
Wow.
So he comes back and he gets an apartment. He rents an apartment for a month, but he doesn't stay there. He immediately goes back to the house. Where I'm living 2 blocks away at my friend's house who's letting me live with him. And just coincidentally, I'm driving one morning and I see his car parked there, and I would start panicking. Like, what the fuck? Anyway. So then he has to get arrested again.
The kids were with you.
They were staying with me on my friend's house. He had, thankfully, some empty rooms, a couple kids on couches. Like, we were there for months because my mother-in-law had moved into the house here.
And she wouldn't let you in.
Yeah, in order to keep me from living there.
Holy freak.
And she then filed a motion in youth court to try to get the kids taken away from me. It was a mess. My point is, a victim with money can cause chaos and wreak havoc.
The angel.
Well, she forgave him.
Absolutely.
I know, of
And
course,
she sends
of
love
course.
to him.
I send love to
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
the
yeah.
only thing I have left to say to him.
You
I
Yeah.
love
can't
you.
escape. The hate is
Yeah,
just
so it doesn't
consuming you
so,
when you hate people.
Yeah,
it doesn't
you have
do any
to. You
good
have
to
to
anybody.
forgive, you know.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
fuck. But you can forgive and send love and compassion.
That's it, and keep
But
safe.
still
Yeah.
acknowledge that that was a lot of pain to go through.
Yeah.
You know, and with 4 kids in tow,
Yeah.
like
no money. Like it wasn't paying any. I had been getting, like in Canada, when you have kids, they send you like support payments and
Yeah,
stuff, whatever.
yeah.
Those had all been like auto deposited to me, and so
Yeah.
that was like the little bit of money I had. To
Yeah.
kind of,
Yeah.
But then when I moved out in September, I was still getting those monies, even though the kids were living with him at the house.
Yeah,
Like,
they
if
always
we're-
give to the mom the money. for
Yeah.
the
by
kid.
default, and
yeah.
they were, and so he realized that was happening.
Oh my God, I
And
thought about it.
Yeah, it occurred to him, and so he filed a motion to get the money sent to him because the kids were living with him full time, which they were.
Yeah.
And
But
it worked.
Yeah, he got
Oh
my
my
money
God.
stopped, like the little bit of money that I was living off of.
Oh.
But then, like 2 days later, the kids went back to living with me.
And then you
But
have
then
to
it took a while to get it back going again.
Oh,
because
my
they had
Jesus.
it
What
was
a
like-
headache.
I'm telling you, the cost of the system for my divorce, like it would be a fascinating like PhD study in like what they call like high conflict people
Yeah.
in legal settings.
Uh-huh.
Oof, I'm sure it was several $1 million. Like judges'
Yeah.
time, clerks' time, social workers' time, police officers' times, psychological evaluations.
Yeah.
My kids were in foster care for a couple nights, which was a whole like that was like they had my kids taken away from me, and then the lawyer, some of my legal fees were because I had no income and no money, was like a public lawyer, so their costs like. Anyway, it was,
And you have to have the mental capacity to go through all that. Like you still have to call with everything that's going on.
Yeah, you have to do
Bureaucracy.
that. Yeah, you have to take the phone and say,
Like
oh, I
all the
need-
emotional
Yeah.
turmoil that you're in, you still have to be like functional in a certain way because you have to deal with the
yeah, you're
situation.
navigating the system.
Yes.
And even though I've been through so much, my behavior was still being monitored because now that youth protection's involved, my kids, if anything were to happen to my kids while youth protection had a mandate on us, they would be held liable. And there had been a case, not that a couple weeks, where kids were killed. Their dad had like kidnapped them or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
And so they were like on hyper.
alert,
And so
yeah.
any little thing, like if I didn't follow their directives or whatever, that threat of them taking my kids away and putting them in foster care was always over my head. Or if like I was told to do something and didn't do it exactly the same way, but they're like, well, we might have to. Like it was just like this.
Ay,
So in
ay,
addition
ay.
to all like not having a place to live, not having money, him calling me, sending me prank phone calls in the middle of the night, and like just harassing me or he created a profile on a adult friend finder. Like this, it's like where porn meets online dating.
Oh,
He created a profile for me and he put my real phone number and email. He wanted men to call and harass me. Thankfully, the app didn't allow that.
Oh my God, he's on another
He was
level.
on another level.
That
Like,
is
he was
another
gone.
Oh my
He was gone.
God.
Yeah. No, it was literally, this was the getting through one day at a time. There was no planning. It was just, can I get the kids to school this morning? Can I do what I need to do so they can pick them up? Like, it was one day at a time for about a year. It was
Wow,
intense.
and your kids, in terms of like there's like they were able to go through their school and they didn't like.
I think they
Yeah,
suffered.
they
Like,
I mean, for sure,
Yeah.
for sure
took a
they
hit.
suffered,
Yeah.
but
Well, then, because one of the things was you in a criminal condition? Because when the time he called and threatened to kill me if I saw my kids again or whatever, like he knew I was going to go to the cops, and so he was living at the house with the 4 kids at the time, and this is a couple of months after I had moved out, and he fled the house because he knew the police would be coming to get him. But then he called my daughters and told them, if your mom calls the cops, I'm going to kill myself. Anyway, he threatened suicide to my kids. And so when the judge found out that later, they agreed that one of the conditions for his release was that he'd not even be in touch with the kids. Like he's not a safe, whatever. So what the kids did, the 2 youngest ones, was he was actually connected to them on their phones through Instagram. So he was still communicating with them. That's what it was like, so hard. It was like I was trying to like stabilize the family,
yeah.
get the kids just kind of in a place where it's like, this is between mom and dad. We don't have to make this between you. Because he'd
Yeah.
spent 3 months like telling your mom's a bitch. She's trying to destroy me. Like he was really like
Brainwashing
implicated them.
Yeah.
And so my job was to try to undo that. But I didn't have a house.
Yeah.
And the youth protection was like, you can't have your kids can't be on their phones. They can't be on the phone. They suspected that something was going on because they could tell that he was having influence, even though they weren't they weren't meeting with him, and so
Yeah.
they knew something was up, and I knew something was up too, because whenever I got close to the phones, the kids were like, "Oh," they'd freak out, but what could I do? Like I didn't. This is how they connect with their friends.
Mm-hmm.
They don't.
They could have
this is
blocked him on their phones.
but they didn't want to. They
didn't
wanted to be in touch
Ah,
with
they
their
still
dad.
wanted that attention.
Yes. Yeah. And I was the bad guy because
Oh.
I was the one getting in the way of, you know what I mean? Like all the narratives that, it was a mess. It was a mess for a long time. Yeah.
Wow. And how did it, like, what was the resolution finally? What was the shift that made it like,
Well,
okay.
he eventually went to jail because they couldn't keep release. They would catch him. It was catch and release. And at one point they were like, we can't just keep doing this. So he went to jail for a long stint. More time, if he had just had the one charge and been like, okay, I'm not gonna, there would have been no jail time. Like it would have been so
But
lenient.
you think he thinks like that?
No,
you
there's
know,
no-
if
it's not
he
logical.
thought like this, you wouldn't be in this situation at
Still
all.
be married,
Right?
See, that's the thing. That's what I keep reminding
Yeah.
myself. Like,
Yeah,
if this was going to be an easy
rational.
divorce,
Yeah.
we wouldn't be getting divorced.
Yeah.
I'm leaving him because
He is
I can't
irrational.
keep
Yeah.
living with someone who's so disordered. Like,
Yeah,
and
it's chaotic and
Yeah.
crazy and dangerous and
Right.
everything.
And that's when you start to that's where some of the empathy starts coming in. Actually, is because you start to people ask me like, what was he thinking? What was he doing?
No.
And I was like, I have no idea what he's
No.
thinking. To live in his head for even a
Yeah,
minute would be hell.
Yeah.
And I can't. He can't escape that. Like he can. That's not an excuse for bad things. Like obviously
harming
people can make different
people.
choices
Yeah,
for
yeah.
sure. But because he has money and there was no outside force. In his mind, he's doing nothing wrong, and his mom agreed with him, and so she was paying for the lawyers, and his lawyers. He found lawyers are like, yes, Mr. Yeah,
Like
so he
sharks.
had his team
You think they're gonna
reinforcing this
Yeah.
victimhood narrative,
Well,
and
they're
so
getting paid good chunks of
Yeah.
money.
the cities, whatever their costs were, like
Yeah.
it was crazy. It was just kind of getting to the point where it's like I don't know what's going on in his head, and I don't want to, and it makes me sad that someone who I had genuine affection for has to live in such a place of hell. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Wow.
yeah, you talk about dissonance, like cognitive dissonance,
Yeah.
like that, how uncomfortable that must be all the time. So yeah, that whole process, you can come out like super angry, and for sure there's lots to be angry about, but after you can cycle through that, then you can't help but coming from a place of empathy and compassion.
Wow. Yes. Wow. And do you think he's in a better place now? Well, you wouldn't know, but from the kids, maybe.
I don't know. Okay,
Yeah.
so it's interesting because like in the research, like this is when I started understanding what narcissism was and codependency was and what attachment style. Like that sent me down that road, and I learned so much. And what you hear pretty steadily from people who I learned a lot from is that this type of thing, the reason it gets so bad is that the defense mechanism keeps them from even thinking anything's wrong. So if you don't think anything's wrong and it's that person, that, why would you change?
Right.
Yeah.
Like your life is hell, but if you don't take any ownership of that, and
It's not
if
their fault.
Your choices,
For them,
yeah.
it's not their fault. It's
Never
everybody's
their fault.
fault.
Well, this is
Yeah.
the problem of victimhood.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you can't have the courage to be like, oh no, I can make different choices, then of course you're just going to be a victim to all this thing that's happening to you, right? That's how he sees the world, how it feels to him. So that keeps you from change. So pretty much across the board, people will tell you, people with these types of cluster B personalities, especially narcissism and borderline psychopathy, it's therapy doesn't work, and sometimes it makes it worse. Like there's no change. All that to say, from a psychological perspective, that's the consensus. But I do believe that what we're going through right now, and like the energies that are coming from the sun and all this stuff, is like maybe his life just needs to get hard enough. Like maybe his nut is nut.
His
No,
nuts?
you know
His nuts?
what I mean? Like that's what bad word to use, but like when you have a chestnut, like some shells are harder to crack than others.
Yes.
So maybe the pressure that's gonna, like maybe the experts are wrong. Maybe in the right conditions you could crack through. But then I remember that one of the other problems is that it's a personality disorder.
Yeah.
And there's no true self to come back to. You have these masks. You create these delusions.
They shift as well,
because they're that core self just never formed.
Yeah.
It's never.
Yeah.
So it's like you could heal this thing or that thing, but if that constellated self is never there, so yeah, I don't think there's. I think whatever his thing is, he's too far gone. Like,
But he's let go of bothering you.
yes. So how did that end? So he went to jail, and then in jail, he was there for a while, and then he was able to use a lot of money and a lot of city's resources to get moved from jail to rehab. And then I think in those rehab days, I don't really know exactly, but he met someone else, and that pretty much quickly at that point. I didn't.
Okay, his
wasn't harassed
focus
by
went
him.
on
He
somebody
found
else.
somebody else to throw that energy on.
Yeah, I think he'd finally. I mean, I don't know if he's like acknowledging like Kate's never coming back, but whatever. Like that new object of obsession, and it wasn't me anymore. So that's what finally.
Yeah. Right. Okay. And then he agreed to.
No,
Because
he
it took you a while.
Still had issues because then later we were. Like got angry and started calling me. You know what I mean? So he couldn't really. It was hide.
He's on another level. Hey.
I mean,
yeah.
And
Because sometimes narcissistic people, they have faces when they're around people. They want to show the best.
he
face,
definitely does
you
that.
know?
He wants to.
But he cannot control.
It's a
his
spectrum.
It's
I
a
think
spectrum.
Yeah, it's a So whatever what makes someone borderline versus narcissist, like I think in a certain setting he can appear mostly normal.
Yeah.
If you tell him no in private, you're gonna see a different version of that person.
Right.
So
right. Yeah.
so it's in those settings. But no, I love him. I learned so much from him. Like I wouldn't be the person I am today if it wasn't for having walked through that fire as many times as I needed to walk through it before I finally decided, hey, I can have better than this. I deserve better than this. I had to live through living with him to get to the place where I wanted better for myself. And so it took as long as it needed to take.
Oh, wow. Yes. You're a warrior. Warrior of the light.
Warrior of light.
There we go.
That's what I was told.
Yes. Well, I mean, it takes light to go through that darkness. You know, you have to have and to come out from the darkness. You know, you have to have something lit inside of you to be able, or else you stay in the darkness. You know.
Yeah. Well, that's I think was so powerful. It's like because living with someone like that and letting myself be dominated by someone like that, and then to the point where I felt trapped, and then to the point where I couldn't get out, then to the point where suicide became the out, and then spending, like we talk about, like in the Lord's Prayer, I walked through the valley of darkness. Like I walked, I had a freaking flower points, guys. Like I was there a lot, and I was in and out of that, but I think that work, I didn't know it at the time, but I can look back and think, oh, that was probably some pretty deep shadow work that I was doing.
Yeah.
And so that when I was able to be like, okay, enough, I'm going to make a different choice now. I want different, and I'm going to make a different choice. Because I've wanted different many, many times. It's one thing to want it. It's another thing to actually make a different choice.
Act on it.
Yeah. So when I finally had the courage to make a different choice, and then from there started learning about personality disorders, and from there learning about intergenerational trauma and codependency and anxious attachment styles and all those things. It's like that ball got, and it's like it was a lot. My closet had been kind of cleared out already, so I could put in, like, my awakening was kind of accelerated
yes.
because of the 24 years of
Absolutely. Of shadow
sitting,
work.
sitting in the oven.
Yeah.
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 I mean, I do believe that most light workers, if I mean, but you, to be able to truly hold the light and be that love and be that light, you have to have walked through the shadows back and forth many times. You know, you have to know the path and then make the choice to be like, okay, well, I've visited that place many times. I want to make the choice to be in the light, you know, but it takes going there.
Yeah. It did for me, at least. Who
Yeah.
knows? Maybe kids are born now don't need to go through this.
Maybe our generation, you know, we came in maybe with that contract on a soul level to be like, yeah, you know, you're gonna see some darkness, to be able to recognize the light and to shine the light that you have inside. Because you're right, kids nowadays, they have no problem to shine. You could tell, you know, but maybe because we did the work too.
Yeah.
Like they didn't have parents that were like projecting on their darkness into their children.
Oh, I did plenty of that though too.
You know, yes, but they also witnessed.
Yes.
No matter what, they witnessed your transformation.
Yes, the
Yes,
choice.
yes,
Me
yes.
saying no more, and I know at the time
yeah.
that was not a choice. So I'm like, but now I can think for sure. They look at that and be like, oh yeah, that was, and they still have a lot to learn for sure. But,
Of course.
but yeah, that cycle breaking.
Yes, cycle breaking.
Yeah,
You know,
It's
well,
so important.
We're cycle breakers.
but that I think is, it's way more helpful as this is how we get, like, if someone just magically appeared and they were perfect and they had all the right answers, it's like, okay, fine, you can just be that person. But it's like, if you're someone who was flawed and had issues and then had to walk a hard path to learn about them, that's much more relatable.
Yeah.
That's going to be a much better role model
Yeah.
than someone who's just like, oh no, just don't drink, guys.
Yeah,
you know, like,
it's
it's like,
like,
well, or, you know, just love that person. It's like, I can say that because there was a time where I didn't feel that way, you know, whereas if you're just someone who's just born perfectly whole, which is lovely, like I can't wait when babies are like, that's great for
Yeah.
them.
That's what we want for our children,
Yes.
actually. Like, if you
But
can prevent that
Trauma.
the whole trauma, and they just come and
Amazing.
in love and in peace, that's ideal for our kids, actually, right?
It's one
I'm
way of
not
living
saying
your
like
life.
they'd be like protected from everything. No, they have to go through some kind of. This is what life experiences, but not that kind of darkness. I wouldn't wish it on anyone. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, we had our
It's
I
just-
think our contrast was very contrasting.
You know what I mean?
You know,
But
like,
I like the contract. I'm gonna push back on this. And this is something Marty and I get into all the time. And there's a film, Whiplash.
Yeah.
Have you watched
Yeah,
it?
the
Drummer.
The drummer.
Yes.
Yeah, I watched it like
And-
a couple of times. I love that movie.
Love that movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And it's always like, was that guy a good teacher or was he a bad teacher?
yeah.
Like he was mean. He was abusive.
Mm.
But was that what it took for the kid to get to that level of drumming? Like, if he had been soft and nice and the Robin Williams type from, like, would that have delivered that kind of drum? I don't know. Like, it's an interesting.
It's debatable, you know.
It is
It's
debatable.
very debatable because sometimes, you know, like now, you lead with love and compassion, and you would not subject your kids to that level of insanity. But encouraging them, maybe it's the best way, because some people, they don't do well with harshness, and
That's
you know, it
I
depends
think
on
it
the
depends
on the
the
people,
person.
right?
Yeah.
Like, I can see it with my kids. Like, my son, if the simple criticism, he'll shut down and he will not do anything. The minute I switches to, like, I'm proud of you and you can do it, he lights up. And you know what I mean? I don't know. It's just very, it's debatable.
debatable.
Like, do we need a drummer that good?
Do we even like music?
Like,
guys?
do we want jazz in
Yeah,
your
yeah.
life?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just, I love the movie. It's just a lot of emotions, but it's still fiction, right?
I love it because it is such an interesting. It's
Yeah,
an
it's an
interesting
interesting,
conversation.
like, it's a beautiful movie. I'm not saying
Right.
that, but I come from a lot of shit, and I know, like, it makes your personality, and it makes you who you are, and it's complicated, and you have levels in you and everything. But I don't know if it's necessary to life. I don't know. I'm still, like, conflicted about that. Like, do we really need to suffer that much to be something, or we can just live life nicely and I'm not saying be sheltered, but especially for children, I don't like children who go through harsh things with their
Yeah.
and abuse and all this stuff.
Or like animals, you see a dog getting like kicked or whatever. Like,
You know what I mean?
I do know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I don't want to be the person inflicting the abuse for like.
Exactly.
But I wouldn't be who I am today
I
if
know.
it wasn't for, the shit that it was in my childhood and then the codependency that created, so that I was attracted to a dominant man and gave up all my autonomy
Yeah.
to him. You know what I mean? Like all of that had to happen so that I could get to that deeper level.
I think
I don't know how to, like, I am for it and against it at the same time. Like, from my personal experience, all the crap that happened to me when I was a child and the sexual abuse and everything. It's like, and then, but at the same time, I was like, I wish it never happened to me. Like, it's just like, I could have, like, the core of who I am is still gonna be the same. That's
Yeah.
how I feel.
Yeah.
It's like, I see myself as a child. I was full of love. I was always singing. I was just loving, and I was like, and I feel like it dimmed that thing. No, it was dimmed, but not. It didn't. That light was just. I hit it somewhere very deep, and it was just like shit surrounding that. Like, I didn't need that. Like, why? I would have been such a beautiful light. I was still, but like, I felt like I had to quiet that thing just to be safe and to go through
For
that
sure.
thing.
Yeah.
And then when I was left to my own device and I'm like it's
Yeah.
this.
Came all over the place.
Yeah, I came all over like this. I felt like I don't know what could have been or whatever, but I feel like I could have been something. I just, like, opportunities could have been much better
without that trauma.
with that. Yeah.
Yeah, well, you know how they say it takes like pressure to make a diamond? Like,
Yeah.
you can't have a diamond
Yeah.
unless you put a lot of pressure on it, But then again, I agree, so that's true.
But do I
However,
really
do we
ha-
need diamonds?
do I really need it to be sexually assaulted by an uncle? You know what I mean? This is what I'm like.
Yeah.
Yes, you
What?
did.
I did.
Yes.
Oh,
Well, so then we can go on another podcast on this, because right, like, I believe it's very complex, because there's also like karmic shit, right? Like, I believe in like soul contracts, like maybe the reason that happened, and I'm just
but I
putting
have
it out
IBS.
there.
I have to shit all the time because of that trauma. I wish I didn't have IBS.
I know, but so that is trauma, definitely, that you had, that your body lived through. But everything's a teacher in this school of life.
I know.
Everything teaches us something, and trauma is our biggest teacher. So for that, I agree with you. Like,
I could not. I don't know. It's just me. Like, from my small
Of
experience.
course, I
wish this
wish
shit
didn't happen to
me,
you.
because it
You know
was
what I mean?
really
And I
fucked
wish
up.
you didn't go through an abusive
But she was
relationship.
Like, I wanted
You
that
know,
to happen.
and I wish I didn't have to be born into war.
I didn't
No,
want
what
it.
I mean, it
but
was necessary.
I can look
Yeah.
at it now and just have gratitude for it.
Yes, but that's a different story. You know what I mean? Like, because any other set of circumstances, as long as you come to a point where you you see a transformation and you're happy with yourself and you love yourself, then you're like, okay, well, I wouldn't be where I am had I not went through all this shit, you know, and walked through the shadow of death and the valley of, you know, like all that for sure. I think it was still necessary in our evolutionary cycle as humans to kind of bring our karma and work on our karma in this life. And I do hope that for our children, it'll be lighter loads. But that's on some level, and that's complex. But then again, do you get something out of someone without squeezing the shit out of them? There has to be another way.
I think moving forward, yeah. But I think you were on that idea of like, I'm guessing, I've never taken the time to learn about my past lives. I'm really not interested in like cognitively understanding them. Mm-hmm. But I probably was an asshole in a few lifetimes.
Oh, I'm sure we all were.
I had to unwind that by living through it. You know what I mean? Like that makes sense to me. It's like there's probably been lifetimes where I was the one who was mean to someone else, or I murdered someone else, or whatever. And so it's just like,
or to your ex.
Yeah.
Like,
there
what
may have
if?
been lifetimes where he was the.
There. I felt like the opposite for me. I was a pure angel, and I became an asshole because of this. I'm not an asshole. I was never like, but deep down, I'm like, I have a lot of, like, I have a devil in my head that I never act on. It's just like sometimes.
Oh, so you're not the pure little angel.
No, I'm not.
Good.
So now, I feel like maybe when I was young, I was such a sweetheart. I was, seriously, I was a sweetheart. Like,
I believe
this
it.
beautiful girl who loves everyone. Mm-hmm. Like, people, when they come to the house, I'm the only one who runs and hugs them. Like, still nobody cares. In the house, I am the one, like, I hear ding-dong, somebody comes.
They didn't need a dog.
I jump on their neck and I give them the best hug, and I don't let go because I don't get hugs from my parents. So
Someone's here to hug me, please. The milkman, the mailman,
the garbage.
She was just hugging everybody.
I'm such a loving person.
No wonder everybody's molested.
This girl clearly wants it.
Hey, this 5-year-old clearly wants some dick.
I think we're gonna end it on that, guys.
Boy.
Oh man.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
All right. But yeah, clearly we got a little more to talk about on this.
Yes. It's definitely a.
Maybe I wouldn't have been that funny if shit didn't happen.
Honestly, that's okay. Yeah, we gotta stop. We gotta
That's
stop.
point.
We gotta
Yeah.
but
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
I have some more points that I should, if I was a better producer, I would actually
I
write
know.
down, but I'm not. So maybe we'll never get back to this.
All right.
No, we will.
Yeah, it's garbage hands.